It was supposed to be a routine business trip, nothing out of the ordinary. Jake arrived at the Blackwood Hotel, an aging establishment on the outskirts of town. The lobby was dimly lit, with faded carpets and peeling wallpaper. As he checked in, the receptionist's eyes widened slightly when he mentioned room 313. The hallway to his room seemed to stretch on forever. Jake's footsteps echoed in the eerie silence as he made his way down the corridor. The air felt heavy, almost oppressive. Finally, he reached room 313, the last door at the very end of the hall. As Jake turned the key, the door creaked open ominously. The room was small and sparsely furnished, with heavy curtains blocking out what little daylight remained. An old analog clock on the nightstand ticked away, its hands pointing to 7:13 p.m. Exhausted from his journey, Jake settled in for the night. But sleep wouldn't come easily. At precisely 3:13 a.m., Jake jolted awake. The room was pitch black, but he could hear something, a sound coming from the far corner. It was unmistakable, the slow, labored breathing of someone else in the room. Jake's heart raced as he fumbled for the light switch. When the lamp flickered to life, the corner was empty. He searched every inch of the small room, but found nothing. Unnerved, he barely slept for the rest of the night. The next evening, Jake considered switching rooms, but ultimately decided to stay. He told himself it was just his imagination playing tricks on him. But as the clock struck 3:13 a.m., he woke again, this time to whispers. The breathing had evolved into hushed, urgent words. Jake strained to make out what was being said. Over and over, the same chilling phrase repeated. He never checked out. He never checked out ... double quotes. Jake leapt out of bed, flicking on every light in the room. Again, he found nothing. No hidden speakers, no one hiding in the closet or bathroom. Just an empty, ordinary hotel room. By the third night, Jake was determined to get to the bottom of the strange occurrences. He set up his phone to record video throughout the night, positioning it to capture the entire room. Then he settled in for another restless night. Like clockwork, Jake woke at 3:13 am at this time. An icy chill ran down his spine. In the corner of the room stood a figure, tall, unnaturally pale, and completely motionless. The man's hollow eyes stared directly at Jake, his face devoid of any expression. Jake's blood ran cold. He blinked hard, certain he must be dreaming. When he opened his eyes again, the corner was empty. Heart pounding, Jake grabbed his phone to check the footage. What he saw made his stomach drop. There, clear as day, was the pale figure standing in the corner. It remained perfectly still for several minutes before slowly fading away. But when Jake looked up from the screen, there was no trace of the man in the actual room. Shaken to his core, Jake packed his bags and fled the hotel at first light. As he checked out, he hesitantly asked the receptionist about room 313's history. The woman's face grew pale. She glanced around nervously before leaning in close. That room was sealed off for decades, she whispered. Back in the 1950s, a guest was found dead inside. He was still standing in the corner, facing the wall. No one knows how long he'd been there. Jake felt the blood drain from his face as the receptionist continued. They say his spirit never left, that he's still there, reliving his final moments. And anyone who stays in that room, they say you can hear his last breath at the exact time he died. As Jake hurried out of the hotel, he couldn't shake the chill that had settled deep in his bones. He knew he would never forget his nights in room 313, or the man who never checked out. The Blackwood Hotel still stands today, and room 313 remains available for guests. But those who know its history tend to request a different room. After all, who would willingly spend the night with a ghost who never left? Some say it's just an urban legend, a story concocted to drum up interest in a failing hotel. Others swear they'd experienced the haunting themselves. Whispered breaths in the night, shadowy figures in the corner, and always that same phrase, "He never checked out ... Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain. Room 313 has a reputation that's hard to shake. It has a place where the veil between our world and the next seems just a little bit thinner. For those brave enough to book a stay, the staff at the Blackwood Hotel offer a word of caution. If you find yourself waking at 313 aimed to strange sounds or sights, it's best not to look too closely. Some things, once seen, can never be unseen. And if you do catch a glimpse of the pale man in the corner, remember, he's not really there. At least, not in any way that we can understand. The story of room 313 has spread far beyond the walls of the Blackwood Hotel. It's become a local legend, whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones at sleepovers. Some thrill-seekers even request the room specifically, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghostly resident. But for every person who scoffs at the tale, there's another who swears they felt an unexplainable presence in that room. The weight of unseen eyes watching in the darkness. The sensation of icy fingers brushing against their skin. And always, that haunting whisper, "He never checked out ... Paranormal investigators have attempted to study the phenomena in room 313, but their results have been inconclusive. Electronic voice phenomena recordings sometimes pick up faint whispers, and thermal cameras occasionally detect cold spots in the corner where the man allegedly stands. But hard evidence remains elusive. Perhaps that's part of what makes the story so enduring. It hovers in that tantalizing space between fact and fiction, between the explainable and the supernatural. It taps into our deepest fears about what might lurk in the shadows when we're alone in an unfamiliar place. The Blackwood Hotel has embraced its haunted reputation, offering special ghost tour packages that include a night in room 313. But they always warn guests about what they might experience. After all, not everyone is prepared to come face to face with the unknown. For Jake, that fateful business trip changed everything. He never stayed in another hotel without thoroughly researching its history first. And he always requested a room far away from the end of the hallway. The experience left him with more questions than answers. Was the pale man in the corner really a ghost? Or was it all an elaborate hoax? And if it was real, why did the spirit seem trapped in that moment, endlessly reliving his final breath? We may never know the full truth about room 313 and its eternal occupant. But one thing is certain. As long as the Blackwood Hotel stands, the legend will live on. It will continue to fascinate and terrify in equal measure, drawing in those who seek answers to life's greatest mystery, what happens after we die. So the next time you're booking a hotel room, take a moment to consider, would you dare to spend the night in room 313? Would you be brave enough to face whatever, or whoever, might be waiting in the corner when the clock strikes 3:13 a.m.? Just remember, if you do hear those whispers in the night ... it might be best to keep your eyes closed. After all, some things are better left unseen, and some guests, it seems, never check out at all.